A bricked up cockpit, flashy vehicle transformations, and playing Rocket League with an egg? Yep, that's what LEGO 2K Drive is all about. One of the most surprising entries into the racing game genre is out now, and we had the chance to experience Bricklandia already. And I have to say, there is one feature in particular which may boost LEGO 2K Drive to be one of the best arcade racers in 2023. And with that, welcome back to Overtake. We got a special one today. When I saw the first reveals for LEGO 2K Drive, I can tell you I was pretty excited. Finally, it looked like we got another serious contender in the open world racing game genre. Combine that with the LEGO brand, and my anticipation while booting up the title on my PC was high. The story is the main attraction of the title, thus was my first starting point as well. Right from the get-go, the player is thrown into the world of Bricklandia, a LEGO racing utopia where all sorts of challenges and wacky racing action takes place. You race, build, and win your way all the way up to the all-important last task, the Sky Trophy. No matter if it's on-road, dirt, or water, racing never stops in Bricklandia. Should you go from one area to another, a seamless transition occurs which transforms one vehicle into the fitting one for the underground. While road racing features a lot of sports car likeness, off-road can be done by quad and water racing by speedboat. The tracks and map change between each of the undergrounds constantly, thus creating a very diverse driving experience. While I was hesitant at first about this feature, especially considering stuff like frame rate or playability problems with other titles I've covered, I can safely say none of my worries came true. It is impressive how smooth and flowing these transitions are, and they always feel purposeful. Of course, your choice of vehicle heavily impacts this. Clumsier rides make your transition a bit more forceful, while of course offering other perks such as tenacity in dicey racing situations. We offer a lot of tenacity in our everyday YouTube life. If you want to make sure of that, then liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting that bell is the best way to do so. But back to LEGO. The main story is often a lot more linear than I thought at first. Go to this place, win this race, advance to the next place. However, there is a lot of side action you can get involved in. Every second corner features a quick event, which can be anything from beating a time on a made-up course to the aforementioned Rocket League with an egg. It's a diverse platter of tasks to cover for an otherwise pretty standard story. While that holds true, it doesn't get tedious. That is also in parts due to the legitimately funny characters and setups the game generates. From very flat puns to goofy gimmicks. There's never a dull moment of interaction, and a lot of love has gone into creating unique and likable characters. This is especially something I am missing from other arcade racing titles, which attempted similar things in the past. Of course, LEGO is a very different setup, but most of the story-driven racing games turn out not to be exactly Hollywood material, and also mediocre in the driving department. Having mentioned that, how is the driving aspect of LEGO? Gameplay in LEGO 2K Drive has to be categorized in two different departments. One is the open world, which depending on your preference can be used more or less, and the other is the actual racing. The open world gameplay is very interactive and provides a whole slew of opportunities to test out vehicles or simply plow through your surroundings. Yes, that's right. Most of the terrain is destructible, but not only that, destroyed stuff also leaves behind pieces which rebuild your own vehicle, should you have ever bricked it into a wall. Get it? You can have a lot of casual fun destroying half of the map for 10 minutes at a time. Even though it's not always 100% clear which things are destructible and which aren't, thankfully LEGO went with a the more the merrier attitude, because you can truly destroy a lot. While the open world racing is unlike a lot of what we see from competitors, the racing gameplay does feature a lot of what we know from another genre, the kart racing games. Power-ups, boosts, and last-second cheesy takedowns to secure a win sound like we got another Mario Kart gameplay on our hands, right? But far from it. In my opinion, the vehicle transformations keep LEGO 2K Drive from falling into the trap the Disney Speedstorms of the world have experienced. These transitions add nuance to the gameplay of LEGO that can then utilize other kart racing elements while still being unique. Races are often 5-lap go-arounds, which have the usual kart racer tight pack that is used to keep the suspense up until the last second. Your objective is both to beat your rival and then win the race, of course. Your rival is just an arbitrary Lego person from this part of the map. This rival thing, however, doesn't really work as it's supposed to, because you have to win the race anyway in order to get rewards. Simply beating your rival is just not enough. Although in the race, they're oftentimes the fastest and most important, which makes the other racers kind of feel like bystanders and not important at all. A bit sad, I think, and could have been tackled differently. LEGO 2K Drive is also, of course, not the place for high-quality racing competition. Handling is not perfect, and inputs sometimes feel out of place. Like, there is a drift mechanic in the game, but 99% of the times, I found at least, that just using the quick turn is much more effective. Mainly because the drifting just doesn't really feel rewarding at all. Contrary to that though, I did think that 2K Drive made quite a fit for a controller-optimized racer. It immediately had all the basic configurations and overall felt crisp on gamepad. Especially the jumping comes a lot more natural than in other titles I've played before. Overall, the one thing keeping LEGO's gameplay as alive as it is the fast-paced, transition-based racing you can have. It's just such a cool feature, which makes this game a lot more fun than it would be otherwise. While I pretty much only had praise for this game up until this point, there is an aspect, however, I don't like at all. LEGO 2K Drive knows its target groups, which we will show you specifically in our final point. The largest target group being children, no doubt. The game is just naturally very PG and has a lot of the modern Fortnite-esque animations and instant gratification mechanics, like unlocking or earning something every 5 seconds. While that in itself isn't a problem, something else is. LEGO 2K Drive includes microtransactions. Anki's Emporium is sort of a mega shop which offers you content for in-game currency, and there is a lot to buy. You can earn these brick bucks by winning races, as you may have guessed already. The other currency is coins, however, which are bought with real-life money. There are two main reasons I don't understand this. LEGO 2K Drive is a fully priced AAA title at 60 or 120 euros for the complete version with all extras. I don't see why you need to put microtransactions in such a big style in such a game to monetize it. There is a season pass as well, which is usually the one thing devs do to bring in some extra cash after release. This just feels so unnecessary, especially because there are parts and cars unlockable through these means. It's not just cosmetics. Sure, you can grind for them as well, but from my experience, you'll be 20% through the game when you can afford your first brick car with in-game currency. So the incentive is there to spend money. Especially this can be seen with the character selection. At the start of the story, you can select one of like 6 characters to be your in-game sprite. For a game so heavily focused on customization, I found this to be a pretty meager number. And now I know why, the rest of them hide in Anki's Emporium. This brings me to point 2. With children being the main target audience, it is just immoral in my eyes to lay so much out for real cash buys. 2K has a system in play where they ask you for your age and want to see an agreement from your parents if you're under a certain threshold. They tell you that beforehand though, and not just after you put in your age. So a quick lie on the birth date fixes all your problems and you can freely roam online. It's pseudo-protection to save face when getting called out on it, in my opinion. There's certainly a question to be had if games so heavily tailored for children should ever include in-game purchases. But even if, not in this capacity. This doesn't make the gameplay any worse, it just leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Despite this, however, there is a core feature we haven't mentioned at all, and this is a real game changer. If I say everyone used to or still likes one thing about LEGO, then you all know what I'm talking about. The building. I feel like apart from the transformations, this is by far the most advanced and thought out part of the game. Because players of LEGO 2K Drive are able to assemble their vehicle the way they want to. With over 1,000 pieces, it is essentially a whole gigantic box of LEGOs for 4-wheelers. And it is extremely unrestrictive. Building can change the specifications of your ride, making it easier to handle or bulkier to drive. Less pieces mean more speed, and complete abominations mean catastrophe. My first try at building went a little off cliff as well.
How about this one? I call it bold and brash. More like belongs in the trash. Ah!
But if you are creative and have things you always wanted to try, then LEGO 2K Drive is also just great at assisting you while doing it. Pieces are put into overarching and easy to find categories. Even though the building process itself is the one thing in the game that is not controller friendly, it's still a ton of fun. If you're on a PC, however, do yourself a favor and use keyboard and mouse to insert and adjust pieces. Otherwise, you just turn into a blob of madness after you fail to adjust a brick gun for the 10th time. What I found especially cool is the option to build a whole pre-owned car from the ground up, like you would do with a set of Legos. This really gives less construction savvy people, such as me, a holistic view on how to build and what looks good. So much better than a simple tutorial in my eyes. You can also adjust existing vehicles to make them extra neat. Not that they need it though. This driving pizza oven or the Hamburgini are masterpieces in itself, although I may have to call copyright infringement on that one. In general, I think LEGO 2K Drive does a phenomenal job of implementing their core element into the game without forcing it onto you. You want to only race? Fine. Building is completely optional, but in it lays the brilliance. If you choose to do it, you have a million options, and if you choose to leave it out, then there's no downside. It's just very refreshing to see a developer know its target audience. And if it wasn't for the microtransactions, LEGO 2K Drive would have been an all-win for me. As it is, I still think it warrants a lot of praise for amazing features and engaging gameplay. If you are responsible for your own money, then I would definitely tell you to get this title. But if you look to buy this for your children or somebody who isn't in charge of their own money, then I tell you to brief the playing party and check in from time to time. LEGO 2K Drive releases on May 19th for PS4 and PS5, Xbox Series S and X and Xbox One, PC and Switch. If you want to switch your gaming preferences up, then maybe taking a look at our TT Isle of Man review will help you do exactly that. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, cheerio.